Welcome back, YouTube, to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts on the road to 500. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now, in today's episode, no, I didn't set up for tea time. I don't have this lovely umbrella behind me. I don't have all this equipment out in this nice manner because I'm about to have tea time like I'm some kind of British dude. I'm actually going to be working out, and today I'm going to be doing the wagon wheel deadlift. So the kind of difference that I've been doing in my series is I've been doing a regular deadlift from the ground and doing like a standard conventional deadlift. Well, today I'm going to be about 3 inches off the ground from a normal height of a deadlift because the wagon wheels are just comically big. And the idea is, on the last episode, I kind of felt a weird sensation in my hamstring. Turned out everything was fine. So I feel comfortable to keep going. But now I kind of am a little scared to do a deadlift, like a standard deadlift. So I'm going to actually take away a lot of the hamstrings and focus more on my upper back. What I really like about the wagon wheels as well is it starts right at the sticky point, just below your knees. So I'm going to be able to overload that movement by learning how to work around the knee, which would really help with the conventional deadlift, because once you get around the sticky point, you need a lot of upper back in order to maneuver around the knee and then get to a much more advantageous position. We're also going to be doing a bunch of other stuff today, and it's super hot, and I hope that I don't overheat and die. So let's pop into today's workout. Let's see how it goes. Now for today's strength giant set, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, but you've seen this before on my channel when I'm doing deadlifts. It's the circus dumbbell clean and press. It's only going to be 80 pounds the entire workout, and the idea is just to warm up those same explosive muscles I want to use when I'm doing the deadlift. And I can't think of a better way to wake them up than doing this, starting with the right, moving over into the left. And my left shoulder has been agitating me lately anytime I'm doing a pressing movement. So this is a great way to gauge exactly what's going on. And for the main mover of the strength giant set, it's going to be the wagon wheel deadlifts. Now, those wagon wheels are 45 pounds each. So it's going to be basic gym math, as that's a basic barbell that I'm using. And since it's a lot higher than starting from the floor, it should be, in theory, a lot easy, but it is a different kind of setup. And then I would do some weighted ab mat sit-ups, because I find that when I do this on the same day that I do deadlifting, my deadlifts usually are successful. And jump ropes. Not only is jump ropes a great conditioning tool to use, but it's also a great timing tool, and it warms up my shoulders as well for the circus dumbbell. That's going to be the strength giant set for the day. Now, even though I've set up all that equipment and I'm under a shady tree and I have an umbrella to give me some extra shade, I found myself being in the sun a whole lot more than I wanted to. And let me tell you something, it was hot. And every single time I'm out in this heat and I'm in direct sun, my battery begins to drain a whole lot faster than it would if it was a lot cooler. So I'm going to have to watch it this time around. And no, those are not George Washington's socks, as my wife told me they look like as I was going out to the bullpen. But those are thicker socks than usual because I don't want to keep banging the bar against my shins. And then as I drag it up and bring it back down, I don't want it to cause abrasions to my shin. Safety first. And if that's what George Washington wore those socks for, then he was correct for doing that. Now, the idea of the wagon wheels is it is actually an event when it comes to strongman. In strongman, they actually have like 1 rep maxes or heavy sets for reps in competitions, and it's usually like an elevated deadlift such as wagon wheels or something comically big as we're witnessing here. And the thing about it is there's some deadlifters that can break world records just doing a standard conventional deadlift from the ground, but those same guys can't lift the wagon wheels and get a world record for that. So how is it that he's able to get a world record on an elevated deadlift, but he can't do the same thing from the ground? And this answer is really simple. They are 2 separate different movements. However, the wagon wheels is a great tool to use if you are trying to get better at a standard deadlift from the floor. For me, when I look at the video of me deadlifting, I have no problem getting it off the floor to my knees, but then it slows down significantly, and then I have to grind it up to the top. This is telling me that my lockout sucks, and I need to focus more on my lockout. And what a great way to do that than doing an elevated deadlift where it starts right where it gets troublesome for me. So normally you see me roll the bar away from me and I get pretty low to the ground. And then when I come up, I extend the hamstrings, and then I bring my shins to the bar by slightly bending my knee, and then I'm able to get a lot of power from the ground. But I'm not going to be able to do that with the wagon wheels. So I'm going to have to start at kind of a disadvantaged position and I'm going to have to try to grind it out and really focus on the upper back, which was the whole point of today. I really wanted today to make sure that I really hit the upper back perfectly. So my top set for the day was going to be 475 pounds. That was the 1 rep max I did last time before I attempted those chain deadlifts. And this time around, I was able to squeak out 3 reps. And it did feel very heavy in the hands, but just the fact that I was able to force my upper back to kick into another gear and to make sure that it was really taxing the upper back when I'm pulling, that was the goal for the day. And I really feel like that I did a good job, and that will definitely carry over into the standard deadlift. All right, so that went well. I did 3 reps, but I must say it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I think the biggest thing is when you're training with a higher deficit deadlift, like a raised deadlift, the setup is a little bit different because if you're trying to get power from the floor, I usually like to roll the bar away from me, bring my hips down, then extend up, and then throw my knees forward until it touches the bar. And I feel like that gives me a lot of explosive power from the ground, at least up to the knee. And then the upper back needs to take over and finish the pull. And this is a great training tool to use. It's also something that you see in strongman. So pretty popular implement and a great training tool. Now we got to make sure that I'm all well-rounded now, and we got to do the variation giant set and finish this workout strong. So let's just zip through it right now. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 4 rounds, and because I was feeling so taxed from doing the 3-rep max on the wagon wheels for 475, I'm now just practicing a single deadlift format. Because a single deadlift format, that's how you really get strong. Because if you're able to pull 1 rep and you struggle, but then you're able to rep out like 5 reps, big deal. Because the first rep is the most important part. So if you struggle with the first rep, and then the second, third, and fourth are easy, well, as that weight gets heavier, and you're unable to pull it from the ground, but you can get your second rep. If you can get up to the top, there's no point in trying to get that second rep unless you get really good at pulling from the ground on the first rep, if that makes any sense at all. So to make sure that I was still practicing this, since I was doing it from an elevated position earlier, I was just working on my technique at a comfortable weight. I didn't want to go too heavy because I just wanted to make sure that I was getting the practice that I needed in the single deadlift format, where I completely let go of my brace and I'm powering through the floor and not just trying to rep it out to build upper back strength. I've already done that. Now it's time to build and to practice from the ground to make sure I don't lose that skill. So 385 seemed like the appropriate amount of weight today. Didn't really feel like I needed to go a whole lot more, which I probably could have, but I maybe might do that next time if I do better on the wagon wheels. But I just kept it in the same format as the strength giant set by doing the circus dumbbell clean and press, which is getting a lot slower now because my posterior chain is about to get zapped into oblivion. So now it's starting to move a whole lot slower on the circus dumbbell. And the weighted sit-ups as well, which are very useful for deadlift days. So if you really want to do an exercise that helps with that, definitely do some ab mat sit-ups. And the jump ropes as well. And doing all of these movements combined with the deadlift, I got a very, very good workout today, combining the whole set together. Now for the accessory giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I was doing the barbell curls. I kind of find that when I start from the bottom instead of a rack, I actually get into a much stronger and deeper position than I do from the rack. So I was doing 135 pounds because it felt good today. Sometimes that doesn't when I pull it from the rack for 10 reps. Then I'd move on to the hitchhikers, and I was doing more volume of hitchhikers this time to make sure I'm really keeping on target with the upper back since it was hit a whole lot. And then I was doing one of my favorite movements to do on deadlift day. I just call them look backs. I believe they're called like a staggered step Romanian deadlift with a twist, something like that. But this works all of the deadlift muscles that you need, and it really blows up your obliques as well. Great exercise to do. And I call them look backs because when I look back, that's kind of like the cue that I use to make sure that all the muscles are firing accurately when I look back in the right direction. Alrighty, so that's going to conclude it for today's workout. Hope you all learned something new. Hope you enjoyed working out with me. Glad I didn't die in this hot sun. Thank goodness for that umbrella. Really appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.